that was such a stressful and traumatic experience for me. Like, seeing Simon Cowell in that white t-shirt that was too small for him every week was just like a very, very traumatic thing.
Todrick Hall, welcome!
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to have you here. You're in London for Chicago. Billy Flynn, Mr. Razzle-Dazzle himself. What was it about his character that brought you over to the West End? Because I'm sure you could have done any character by this point. You must have...
Stop it! Stop! No, I love the show. I've done it on Broadway and I did it on the tour in America, but I've always wanted to be on the West End. It's always been a dream of mine. It's such an amazing, prestigious opportunity. I just love this musical so much. I think it's so cool. I have this kind of morbid sense of humor where I can stay up all night watching documentaries about murderers and serial killers, and I love this show because you're like rooting for the murderers. You want them to get out, and they just have such fashionable costumes on and they're great dancers. It's like, even though they're a murderer, let them out of jail, you know, let them do their thing. They need to be stars in vaudeville.
What are the other roles that you dreamed of as doing as a kid that you would really like to do?
I would love to play Simba in The Lion King. I've been a huge fan of The Lion King my whole life, but I gotta get a gym membership before I do that. And I would also love to play Fiero in Wicked because I'm the biggest Wizard of Oz fan there ever was. So that's a bucket list thing of mine.
So All Stars 4 is coming up.
Yes.
How many dance routines have you choreographed for this season?
Well, unfortunately, this season I only choreographed one dance because they filmed it while I was on tour. So as soon as we finished tour, I came back and I did the final 4 episodes. So I'm kind of sad that I'm not on the show more, but I'm excited because before I was ever on the show, I was the biggest RuPaul's Drag Race fan. Sometimes when I'm on the show 3 or 4 times during the season, I know so much about the show. So this allows me the chance, even though I know who makes it to the end, to watch it and see like how everybody falls off, which is really, really exciting for me.
You mentioned there that you know who's going to win.
Well, I don't know who's going to win. I know who's in the top 4.
Oh, so you don't know the winner then?
Well, off the record, can I just say this? Because the gays talk too much. And people,
I was gonna say, how long does it take for the queens to learn some of the choreography that you've done? Because I'm thinking like Kitty Girl, that looked like a really extensive routine.
They have one day to learn the choreography.
Crazy.
I know, and these are not usually dancers who have like gone to school and been trained in the art of dance. They're people who have learned a couple of routines at their local drag clubs typically, and so it's really, really difficult, especially with something like Kitty Girl, because that was a one-take number where if there was a mistake at all, and there was only one camera, so there's no way they can cut around it. Like, what you see is what you get and how you're going to be judged. But I was so proud of those 4 girls specifically: Kennedy, Shangela, BB, and Trixie, who was great.
And you guys have also filmed season 11. That's correct, isn't
you know
it?
All the tea.
I know all the tea. I know all the tea. So how do
keep your ear to the streets, don't you?
How do the season 11 queens compare with season 10?
You know, the funny, interesting thing, my honest answer is that when I watch these girls, they're people who are excited about the idea that they are now going to be on this humongous platform and that they're going to be blowing up and becoming, you know, famous, and especially in the queer community. And I never can tell like how much of a star they are because I also only see them on the judging panel or when I'm teaching them choreography. So I don't see their testimonials. I don't know anything about their backstory or what happens in the workroom, which is honestly where I feel like you win the show. The icing on the cake is the runway looks and their hair and their makeup and everything that they use to package their drag personality. But I think we fall in love with the people whose stories or the people who are the most willing to be vulnerable with us.
And in the future, I know you've been on, you know, sometimes when you choreograph, you go on to the judges panel afterwards. Would you like to be full-time on the judges panel one day?
Well, I was full-time on judges panel for All Star Season 2, but it stresses me out so much. I think that I have flashbacks because I got my start in the business on American Idol, and that was such a stressful and traumatic experience for me. Like, seeing Simon Cowell in that white t-shirt that was too small for him every week was just like a very, very traumatic thing. And so when I'm a judge, it stresses me out because I know firsthand what they're going through. So I really like to be someone who is creative and has the ability to help them make it to the next level rather than being a judge. But I do like to be on the judging panel so I can whisper into Rue and Michelle's ear and say, this person was easy to work with, this person was difficult. I get to know them on a much more personal level than even RuPaul and Michelle get to know them. And so I think it's really cool for me to come back and report to them. And usually I have great news to report, but every now and then I meet a little drag demon and I have to let RuPaul know that,
you're like, not that one.
Not that one.